Uh, Zulfi? Zulfi?
Hi, Rahul. Hi, Rahul. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Rahul. So we are just waiting for the participants are coming up. Panelists are joining in. Principal secretary is with us. So just we are waiting. So 5 more minutes, please.
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly? My voice is clear?
Yeah, perfect. Loud and clear. Excellent, Rahul. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'll wait.
Hello, everyone. This is me, Zulfi Said. I'm just calling from our panelists. Is Ayesha Naseem there?
Hi, Zulfi. I'm here.
Hi, Ayesha. Hi, hello. Nice.
Hi.
Nice to
Are you
see
able to hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. So Ayesha,
Perfect.
we are waiting more 5 more minutes, and then we will sign it, right?
All right, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Sheila, are you there? Kinjai, are you there? Hello. Rahul?
I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. Yes. Okay. So they're on joining. Thamba?
I'm here.
Thamba, yeah, Thamba.
Hi there. I'm
Hello.
here.
Hi, Thamba.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Good.
Hi. Hello. nice to see you, man. So in 5 minutes, we are going to start, right? Okay. So we are waiting. Some of the panelists, they're joining with us.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Thamba. Thank you. Our managing director Ashwajit Singh sir has also joined with us. The principal secretary DP Wahlang sir is also with us. So everybody, I again thank you very much for joining up. We are just going to start very shortly.
Good afternoon, friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for investing your time with us on a Friday afternoon. I hope all of you, friends and family are doing well, and I wish that this pandemic is over at the earliest. Just for your information, I think we have been joined by more than 55 participants already on this webinar, and a few more are joining in as we speak. It's become 57 now. Well, friends, my name is Shalender Sharma. I lead the Education and Skill Development practice at IPE Global. For quick introduction, IPE Global is an international development sector consulting organization. We are in operation for last 2 decades, more than 2 decades now, and have implemented more than 800 projects in over 100 countries. We are headquartered out of New Delhi, India, and have offices in Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Philippines, Ethiopia, Kenya, and the UK. Some of the housekeeping announcements would include that I request all of you to please keep your mic on mute and video off because of low bandwidth. The mic should be unmute only when you wish to speak. And probably during the question answer round, you will get this opportunity as well to directly interact with all the panelists as well. And this is to minimize the disturbance during the webinar. Friends, regarding our project, I would just like to brief you that among other projects, we are also implementing a very prestigious project in Meghalaya. This is called Managing Service Operating Partner, MSOP, where we are working with young potential entrepreneurs in Meghalaya to conceive and develop their business proposals, converting their ideas into a business proposal, and then provide necessary support to them for backward and forward linkages, creating value chain establishments, and support them in obtaining business loan, etc. And in this regard, since this is a lockdown situation and all of we are going through this phase, we decided to probably have this webinar where we can interact with a lot of potential entrepreneurs. So today we have an amazing panel which is going to be discussing on the theme of becoming an entrepreneur in the time of COVID-19, and they are going to discuss the prospects and challenges under our MSOP project. And we are graciously also joined by 2 special guests. But before we dive into the panel discussion, let me present a brief introduction and formally welcome our panel. For today's webinar, our panel moderator is Rahul Tejwani, who's from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. By training, Rahul is a chartered accountant and is co-founder of Credis and Green Chutney Films. He is an experienced entrepreneur with a significant experience on developing gainfully scalable business models. Rahul's core strengths include building and streamlining business processes, enterprise sales, and customer relationship management. The second panelist today on this webinar with us is Ms. Ayesha Naseem, who has joined us from Dubai, UAE. Ayesha is actually a founder of a startup called Livewire. Her company is the voice of fellow and future founders in the startup ecosystem. She has been running successful campaigns like Quit the Conventional and Social Enterprise Saturday. Her organization Livewire's mission is to remove the information blockage that most early stage startups face. The third panelist who is joining us from Shillong, Meghalaya itself is Ms. Sheila Karponthia. Sheila is actually associated with Aid at Action and in the iLead project in Shillong as a senior project executive. And she has also been a mentor and trainer for entrepreneurship development programs since 2012. She has been instrumental in encouraging Meghalayan youth for taking up entrepreneurship as a career. The fourth panelist who's joining us is Ms. Thembelihle Sithole. He's joining us from London, UK. Thembelihle actually is a young South African, currently employed as a business analyst, helping businesses deliver value through technology. And Thembelihle is currently employed by a global technology firm called ThoughtWorks. Last but not the least, the last panelist joining us from Shillong again is Ms. Khymdeit Rupa. And Ms. Khymdeit is one of the MSOP project supported entrepreneur. I can in fact call her a role model for potential entrepreneurs from Meghalaya. She recently actually began her startup called Hygienia in Shillong. Her startup produces a range of cleaning products, which are very relevant these days. And at present, khymdeit is manufacturing sanitizers also, which are scarce these days, and also producing hand wash soaps and trying to expand to other geographies also online. So I think these are the 5 panelists who are going to be with us. Well, friends, without any further delay, I now introduce our esteemed guest, Mr. D.P. Wahlang, who is an IS officer currently holding the charge of Principal Secretary, Department of Labor, and CEO, Meghalaya State Skill Development Society, Government of Meghalaya. Mr. Wahlang has significant experience in leading the social sector reform projects across geographies, and he is someone who knows Meghalaya inside out. So I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and welcome Mr. Wahlang, who has spared time for us today. I now request Mr. Wahlang to kindly inaugurate the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shalender, and good afternoon to all of you. We are going through a very difficult phase, very difficult time at present. Even here in Shillong also, we are affected by this pandemic. We've had quite a number of cases, unfortunately. And the hotspot is also not too far from where I'm sitting. I'm sitting in the office right now, and I'll be able to join you only for about 10 to 15 minutes, because I'll have to move out and go for some other assignment. So first and foremost, congratulations to IPE Global for arranging this webinar. It is the first of its kind launched for the purpose of knowledge sharing and knowledge exchange best practices. This series is launched to cater needs of the startups and prospective entrepreneurs of the state. We will keep adding more themes and topics on the basis of need analysis that will be coming in the near future. The first theme today is on becoming an entrepreneur in the time of COVID-19 prospects and challenges. And I'm happy that so many participants are there to join in this webinar. This webinar is aimed to discuss, identify, and talk about the plan of action to mitigate the challenges and to support the prospective entrepreneurs and small businesses during the time of COVID-19. For business professionals and youth, now is the time for you to be proactive and assess what opportunities and markets are best for and what to focus on. While we are all working from home, it is important to contribute by using technology. COVID has presented us, the small business sector and entrepreneurs, with the huge challenges. We are all aware of it. We from the Meghalaya Skills Development Society, we are also aware, but we are up to the challenge, and I'm sure all the upcoming entrepreneurs whom we are training under the MSOP program, along with the partner, will come out trumps, and I'm sure that will be successful in whatever we are attempting. This series is a humble effort to equip all the entrepreneurs with tools and best practices to meet these challenges. Amidst all these testing times, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, although there have been restrictions on physical mobility, public gathering, and closing of offices, MSOP team has identified alternative strategies to ensure effective implementation of this project. I am happy to learn that the MSOP Entrepreneurship webinar series, they bring international, national, as well as local expertise together to address common challenges. There are more than 40 to 50 participants who have joined across the country and also from abroad. And I welcome all of you and wish you all the best and a productive webinar. With these few words, I thank all of you and I declare the webinar open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for being with us today for this first webinar of the series and inaugurating it. I'm sure your inspiring words have shown us the way forward and will help us in conducting more such meaningful events in the near future. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Well, friends, I also have pleasure to introduce Mr. Ashwajit Singh, Managing Director, IPE Global. Ashwajit is a chartered accountant, company secretary, and an alumnus of London School of Economics and Harvard Business School. He has more than 30 years of extensive experience in corporate and financial advisory, specializing in the core areas of corporate and business strategy, efficiency enhancement, policy framework, and institutional strengthening, and has worked across Africa, Asia, and Europe. He has provided strong leadership and strategic direction to IPE Global Group since its inception. I now invite Ashwajit for the opening remarks, please. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalender. Mr. D.P. Wahlang, our chief guest, and welcome and thank you for sparing time, and all the fellow panelists as well. Thank you so much, all of you, for sparing time for this very important webinar. And as Mr. Wahlang has just said in his opening remarks, I think these are very, very challenging times. Probably just about a month ago or a month and a half ago, we would have never have dreamt that we would actually be in a situation like this. It's something that none of us in our lives have faced, because the last such pandemic that took place was exactly about 100 years ago, 1918 to 1920, the Spanish flu. So I don't think anybody in our generation, including our parents and grandparents, have really experienced anything like this. I think the important point that we all have to understand here is that the ways of working and the business is going to change forever. It's not that once we get over this pandemic, or once there is a vaccine that's found, or that the business is going to get back to normal. And this creates, of course, this kind of a pandemic and challenges, along with the difficulties that it brings along, also creates perhaps opportunities for people to understand and venture into businesses. This is a situation where nearly everybody who's getting into business is starting as a startup. Even the most successful businesses in the world have to now redefine and restructure themselves. Gone are the days when their old ways of doing work as entrepreneurs are going to succeed or get them through to the next phase. So you as future entrepreneurs are actually at an advantage, because you are, the gap between you and the more successful or established entrepreneurs or startups is actually going to reduce, because everybody has to start thinking afresh and finding new ways of doing business. Along with this challenge, of course, there will be a huge number of opportunities. For instance, we now realize that a lot of cities are going to decongest, and a lot of work is actually going to be decentralized. Earlier, you needed to be near your workplace to be able to do business or successful business. So that is why cities like Mumbai, like Delhi, like Calcutta, Bangalore were actually flooded with people. But now with the need for social distancing, with the appreciation that people can actually be working from home and doing reasonably well as far as productivity is concerned, now there's going to be a lot of decongestion, and work is going to be outsourced to remote parts as well. So you could really be setting up startups or ventures even in Shillong and be actually clued on or plugged into the global business. So I think that brings a huge opportunity. You need to continue upgrading your skills. I've written a few articles on that during this pandemic as well. Now, a lot of traditional skills are no longer going to be relevant. You will need to upgrade your skills. You will need to continuously learn and get into more areas you can do that through e-learning, but you will need to look at areas around artificial intelligence, around doing virtual business. There's going to be a lot of focus on technology. So you need to really try and upgrade your skills. There's going to be a lot of work around e-commerce that's going to be coming in as well. So I think during the course of our series of webinars, we will get in some of these courses as well. As people from Meghalaya, I think you start with an advantage, because when we have been talking to a lot of companies in the past as well as part of this program about hiring, one very positive feedback I have got about the people at the workforce in Meghalaya is that people are quite happy to actually engage with them and even either do business with them or to hire them, because not only are you fluent in English, of course you come up with very pleasant personalities, but I think the important issue is that when it comes to people from Meghalaya, the amount of passion that you have, I mean, we can see that in the music that you enjoy. So I'm sure if you put in the same kind of passion in your own venture, in setting up a venture and a startup, you will see phenomenal results as well. So I think grab this opportunity. While there are challenges in the pandemic, but there is also the silver lining. Grab this opportunity, attend these webinars, take whatever assistance you can from our team. The government of India, of course, has this scheme of mudra loans. You can also, once you have a business idea, once you're able to shape up your idea, you can also avail of some of these mudra loans. There is going to be a lot of more impetus and promotion of MSME, a lot of more promotion by the government of India and the states also for small startups and entrepreneurs, because that is something that is required for the economic reforms of the country, because you can't reform the country economically by just looking at the big business houses. You have to incentivize the startups, you have to incentivize the small businesses. So you are going to have a lot of platforms for you to take advantage of. But the important part is continue to learn, come up with a few ideas, and then passionately follow your dream. And I'm sure all of you will gain a lot from this program. And I hope to see a lot of you becoming future entrepreneurs and building not only your own businesses, but also the economy of Meghalaya and the country as a whole. So thank you all for giving me time to speak to you. And I wish you all best of luck at the webinar. And of course, best wishes for a successful entrepreneur that you are going to be the future entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashwajit sir, for enlightening us. I'm sure your words mean a lot to us, and these are really, really very useful ideas which you have given us. We hope to receive your consistent support and guidance in future as well. Well, friends, I now hand over the baton to Rahul to kick off the panel discussion and enlighten us further. Over to you, Rahul.
Yes, thanks, Shalender. Thanks, Ashwajit, for giving us really interesting perspectives that how businesses need to shape up for the coming future. I think, taking up from that line which Ashwajit mentioned was a very interesting. Businesses are going to change forever. I think, interestingly, this is a point where a lot of, like I see it for businesses, there will be, two eras. One was pre-corona and post-corona. And businesses which are going to set in the post-corona period, and specifically that's the agenda today, that if you want to be a startup and an entrepreneur entering into post-corona, what are the benefits you're going to get? So that period is going to surely provide you a lot of level playing field. Most of the challenges, being an entrepreneur, whenever we wanted to set up businesses, was that the business was done in a particular manner and it was being driven by the enterprises and the set players. But that all is out of the window now. New rules, new games, new structures, new policies are going to be there. And this is the time where, in fact, the world has started identifying that how weak our systems have been. In fact, India is now going to focus more after post-corona to produce health instruments within the country. We're going to, and this has also led a lot of investment in health tech. So, in fact, the recent investment by Indian government of 1,500 crores, which has gone into health sector, is surely going to bear the fruits, not just during the corona, but post-corona also. So let me structure the, I first of all, I welcome the young panelists over here, all the people on the panel, we in fact have people from different geographies and different diverse backgrounds. So what I would like to start the discussion, divide the discussion into two parts. One is the kind of ideas that right now people would be thinking and trying to implement, what are key, and what is the kind of financial support startups should be expecting in this period. Because I understand most of the startups would obviously need the financial push, the financial capital to build up their ideas, to expand, and what is the kind of financial stimulus they should be looking right now. So let me start going to Ayesha, which in fact runs a very interesting organization. I was just trying to focus on, I was just trying to read about Livewire, and they do really interesting stuff when it comes to information dissemination to startups and bridging that gap. So let us, I would like to hear from Ayesha. Ayesha, can you hear me?
Yes, Rahul, loud and clear. How are you?
Yeah. I am doing good. How are you?
All well. Everything's good.
So I was just trying to, talk about the aspect of the information and how that is going to change in the post-corona and how startups are going to use it. So Ayesha, you want to jump in on that and put some light there?
Sure. Now, talking with the experience that we've gained through LiveWire over the past 2 years regarding what kind of information are startups looking for, that changes depending on what the founder's context is. If the founder is not necessarily looking for funding, but they're looking at support structure in terms of mentors, in terms of coaches, in terms of connections, okay, that's the information block that they're facing. If the startup founder says, we look at that when push comes to shove, let's talk specifically about financial aspects. Okay, that's your information block. What we do is we sit down with a founder or a future founder. The term we use is fellow and future founder. So we sit down with this potential founder and we discuss what exactly are you looking for. Whether it's COVID-19 or not, the one factor that seems to weigh heavy on everybody's mind is, but how much cash do I actually need to start a business? The assumption is a lot. The answer is not really. Especially now when we have, as you mentioned, as the earlier distinguished guests have mentioned, when it comes to financial stimulus, it is very important for the founder to sit down and understand, list specifically what I'm looking for. Am I looking for my day-to-day expenditure? Am I looking for long-term expenses? Am I looking for investment financial stimulus? Am I looking for connections? What exactly is going to help me go from where I'm at right now, from point A to my hopeful point B? Now, when it comes to breaking that down, right now, what founders need to know is if you have enough cash to support your lifestyle at the bare minimum for the next 6 months, you are in a good space to start a business. If you have been given your pink slip in the past couple of weeks, you have no choice but to do something, whether it is looking for another job, whether it is starting your own startup, whether it essentially comes down to doing something with your own hands, with your own skill set, whatever you have accumulated over the past couple of years. If you're starting fresh from school, if you've just completed your first graduation degree, if you've just done your bachelor's, so on and so forth, all they need is some level of assurance or some level of guarantee that if I'm able to support myself independently for 6 months at the bare minimum, yes, you can start a startup. You cannot support yourself for 6 months. All right, let's look at 3 months. Can you support yourself for the next month? Okay, then we will sit down and decide what your financial goals are when it comes to your startup.
Interesting. So I think what it brings down to, one is identifying your skills. I think that's very crucial, that you really need to identify what you're good at it. I mean, cooking good Maggie is not one of the skills. You need to be really serious which skills you can monetize it. That's one. And also identifying that your lifestyle. So interesting, yes. You know, Ayesha, I just want to hear that, you know, with Corona, one thing good has happened is people staying indoor, they realize that cost of living is different than the cost of lifestyle.
Yes, very true.
We for very long, we thought that, you know, my lifestyle was X and that's my cost of living. But that's not really true. Now, as an individual, we can really, you know, draw a difference in that. So just, you know, I just want to, you know, toy with this idea, which has always, you know, I've tried to calculate myself. So what is the kind of difference you see that typically people have right now and which can help them to be actually conservative and be prudent at these times? What is the kind of, you know, how they can use this information right now to really build some info? And are there any such tools available online which they can use? Over to you.
Of course, when it comes to understanding, and you've put it quite succinctly, your cost of living versus the cost of your lifestyle. Anything that does not support you emotionally when it comes to your mental health, if it does not support your physical health, if it does not support your educational aspirations, ideally do not qualify towards your cost of living. They qualify towards your cost of lifestyle.
That's it.
Any activity, ideally, that the government or the WHO for that matter has specifically told you not to do is generally linked to your lifestyle, whether it's eating out, as you mentioned, Maggie, again, I would like to come back to that at a later point, but when it comes to that, when push comes to shove, essentially anything that you can go without compromising on your mental health, your physical health, and your aspirations in a very realistic manner, you can let go of it. And coming to that point of Maggie, yes, Maggie does not qualify cooking, but you would be surprised the number of views, the kind of engagement that content is gaining across social media. 25 recipes to try with your with your favorite instant noodles, for example. That is content that is generated not just by startups. They are students, right? They are accumulating their target audience even before they've sat down and put a structure to their thinking, saying, if I start doing something, what would that be? They have started early, and it's commendable. Maggie or no, they've really got their priorities sorted. If this is what I've got to work with, I'm running with it.
I agree. I mean, you need to have a faith, be it anything, and be disciplined and follow it through. I think that's
everyone. Yes. Ideally, everybody decides for themselves what their discipline is, but as long as they feel that there is a structure to their madness, there is a method to their madness, we're good. It's fine.
Super. So jumping on, I taking from this discussion where, what Ayesha mentioned, that you need to identify your skills, put your budgets together. When I say budget, it means what is the bare minimum you can survive at, put that money together. And then you would really see that how much money you actually need. Most of the times we overestimate the kind of money we need, assuming, confusing between what is a lifestyle and then putting it together. And in terms of running a business, so try to put an Excel together, and that could be your, 0.0 to start a business. Now I would be jumping on to Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila, can you hear me? Yeah. I'll be jumping on to Miss Sheila and now trying to ask her now, considering this times when we, as Ayesha mentioned that, you need to identify your skills. So looking at the geography right now, we are talking where most of the entrepreneurs are coming from, Meghalaya. So Shillong, so what is the kind of skills we typically, you guys have been coming across, and how this process of identification of the skill should be? Should it be more driven by the market demand, or should it be more driven by what an individual good is at? Over to you, Sheila. Sheila, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Were you able to, hear my question? I am losing. Hello, Sheila, you there?
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clearly now. Did you hear my question? Did you hear what I said? Or you missed on that?
No. I got your question.
Super.
Yeah. I got the question. Yes.
Yes. So over to you. Waiting for your response.
Okay. I just wanted to say that according to like what we found with the youths out here, it's like, yes, they have the skills, but at present now, I think the skill driven market things will not work much more now. I think now it's market driven now. Because sometimes the youth, if they have a skill for a particular skill for a particular business, maybe the demand in the market is not there anymore. So we have seen that people, even in the past few weeks, there were youths who have changed their business, like from repairing, they have gone to retailing.
Interesting.
Hello, can you?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm listening. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. So
your voice broke down. Can you repeat the last sentence?
I just wanted to say that now I think the youths out here, they need to look more on the market-driven force now.
Interesting. So Sheila, I just want to understand what have been the typical, if you talk about skill sets over there, now let's say the skills are again divided into two. One, it could be the skills which you need in order within a business function, which is accounting, which is, sales, which is, organization, tech. And one is skills which you typically are good at, which you're going to monetize, which could be a skill which has a demand in the market per se. Now, today, as an entrepreneur, what are the kind of skills you think the market is demanding right now? Is it more driven where an entrepreneur should have, when a starting up entrepreneur should have skills like finance and all, or is it a good time where they can sit at home and develop these skills? As the market opens up by May, so that time they are ready to hit the market. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think like besides having like native skills, I think
True.
even the financial aspects, like out here we have seen like there is a lot to be done on the financial planning
Interesting.
part.
Interesting.
So right now, I think if guides like any kind of handhold in terms of financial development of their skills, so that they can know to do a bit of accounting, a bit of planning, a bit of costing, this would help them a lot, because most of our youths, you will see, they don't have so much of planning. So they most of the time they just jumped into the businesses without proper planning.
Oh, that's so good. So in fact, it would be a very good time. And I was just reading, I mean, to all the, to all the participants who have joined in, Coursera, and as well as Coursera is one of the websites, who have started offering a lot of free courses right now, which are around the accounting packages, which really are going to be helpful. And in fact, there are a lot of individuals who have started online training for young entrepreneurs inside of accounting, because I feel accounting is really a backbone. It's like you're looking at accounts, you can really see the health of the business. So I think understanding accounting really helps you to know where your business is going. Now, moving from accounts and taking that accounts, I'm going to move to a very interesting financial analyst. We have my dear friend Thamba. Thamba, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. So Thamba is if I'm not wrong, a financial analyst. Thamba, correct?
So I'm a business analyst, so I'm more
Business
on
analyst.
the tech side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, business analyst. And moving, Thamba, you're working with currently in the international sector. You would be seeing the importance of technology growing, and as well as how the businesses are shaping internationally. So do you want to put some light here in terms of how enterprises are really moving, and what do you think is a good, interesting space for startups in the tech space, specifically on the business, on the tech side of the, the businesses? Over to you.
Cool. So I'll talk a little bit about what you mentioned earlier, that like there's new rules. And I think major businesses are actually realizing that they can't respond to change as quickly as they thought they would, especially over the past few weeks where we've seen things change really, really quickly, right? And they've also realized, or sort of can now believe, that work can be done away from the office. So that's talking to a way of working, right? But largely, because of the uncertainty and the volatility that exists in the business world right now, large organizations are really, really trying to cut down and manage risk, really. Like, how do you keep the business secure? How do you keep the finances secure for an undefined time, right? Because it's really easy when you look at 3 months down the line, then you can say, okay, cool, looking at my books right now, I can afford to stay in business for another 3 months. But if you don't know whether it's 6 months or whether it's 18 months, then it becomes a really, really tough decision. And that's where you see sort of government stepping in. But I think the main thing is, when it comes to enterprise agility and change and handling change, I think the businesses have come to sort of like a point where they are waking up and actually realizing that they can't manage or they can't change as fast as they should or should be able to, which is, I guess, a very, very big opportunity for startups, right? So I'll talk a little bit about business 101. So any business should serve a customer, so the customer always comes first, right? But most importantly, they should be serving that customer's needs or wants that either have not been met or that you can meet better. And that's where startups come in, right? So if you're looking at sort of like a new business venture or a new business opportunity, if there's a need that's not been met, that's your gold mine right there. Or if there's a need that is being met, but is not being met, or you can do it better, you can meet that need better, that's another opportunity, right? And obviously, with the advent of the internet, there's a lot of new sort of ways that one can engage with the customer, especially at a time where people are at home, some not doing very much, which means, you know, or could imply that they will engage with the internet more, opening up sort of like new opportunities and new ways to engage with potential customers. So yeah, just to conclude on that one, so I was saying, talking about business 101, right? So you need to meet a customer need or want that hasn't been met so that you can meet better. And that also has to be done at a price that they're willing to pay, talking to the costing aspects. And you need to provide it through a good service, right? So they'll want to come back and they'll be satisfied. And that creates sort of like a rapport or a good relationship with your customer. But most importantly, when we talk about business sustainability, it's got to be something that makes it worth you wanting to continue doing business. So that means it's got to, you know, make some form of profit or have sort of like potential to make profit at a point in time.
Interesting. So, can you hear me, Thamba?
Yes, I can.
So I think the last sentence which you said is very interesting to me, saying that you not only need to focus on the growth aspect, profitability plays again a very important role. In fact, most of the startup story has been about growth and has been about VCs and has been about cash burning. But moments like these, when Corona happened, do you agree saying businesses where the fundamentals were very strong, where they really were catering to a need of a customer, are they going to survive? Or businesses are now need to plan and assess customer need, saying that, okay, post-Corona, is that what my customer going to need? Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two things. There's what customers need now and what customers will need in the future. And obviously, if you're a business looking at growth, looking at expanding your customer base, looking at increasing profitability, you need to really, really understand how consumer behaviors are changing. And right now, never has it been more easy to sort of understand how consumer behaviors are changing because of the advent of the internet. So you need to really, really be in touch with your customer. And sometimes maybe it's not even an internet thing, right? Maybe it's having conversations with your customers to say, hey, you know, what are the things that make you want to do business with us? How do you think your preferences or needs will change in the future? And sort of like creating that information base that will allow for you to then analyze, make decisions, and change decisions as and when things change. So I think, you know, from a personal perspective, I think the most important skill that's gonna be required right now is the ability to manage change. So the ability to drive change, the ability to understand change, and the ability to manage change that is imposed upon you.
Super. I think that's a very important takeaway from this. I'll jump to someone who's actually right now catering to the COVID business needs. I think Rupa is, if I'm not wrong, a local entrepreneur. She is, Miss Rupa is already working, and she's also, building up sanitizers and locally masks. Miss Rupa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Super. So, Ms. Rupa, I want to really ask you, that being a part of the program, I want to ask you, and plus now actually you're catering and being on field, working with the team, exploring the resources. I want to ask you that what you would guide now to the entrepreneurs who are about to set off, and plus also share a bit about your personal experience right now, that how the business is shaping up and what are the challenges you're facing.
Okay, first of all, a very good afternoon to everyone. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Good afternoon, and you are audible. You can go ahead.
Okay. My suggestion for the entrepreneur, there is a difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman, right? An entrepreneur is someone who takes a risk and who actually care for the society too. So my suggestion for them is like, when you propose a solution, first you need to establish your creditability fast. Okay, you propose a solution that may work or may not work, but you need to build a trust at this moment, and you need to know what is the actual need of the hour. Okay, you got to run your initial tests on your idea before you pitch it, and that's what I did. When I got to know in the month of March that okay, the need of the hour is hand sanitizer, right? I propose to the government, I propose a solution to them, but you should ensure that your solution should be a quick solution. It should not take time. So this is my suggestion, and I would suggest the entrepreneur to come out of your comfort zone. Like, I was very comfortable making soap, I was very comfortable making hand wash. I was not that prepared with the hand sanitizer, but at the need of the hour is hand sanitizer. So I did a little bit of a research, and then I proposed a solution to the government, and it works.
So, so Rupa, what was, when you said March, when did you contacted the government? I'm curious.
In the very first week of March, in the first week of March.
Very
On
interesting.
on the 2nd or 3rd of March, I contact the government. I propose them. I said that I can make a hand sanitizer. Like, I have a solution. So that's what I did.
Very interesting. And so now, let's say now you're making hand sanitizer, you're making masks. So how are you managing supply chain? And can you put a little more light on how you're supplying?
That is the challenges I'm facing right now, because
Yeah.
all the raw materials is not available in Shillong. I have to source it from outside the state. So I'm like working together with the government, like I'm getting a great help from them. So like, but out of 100%, I'm not getting all 100% of the raw material. So I have to do a little bit of research at what thing will work out best right now, and what is the availability of the raw materials in the market, and I need to work out with that. So a little support from the government I'm getting, but then yeah, I would say that it took me a lot of time to get the raw material. It almost took me almost 20 days to get the raw material from outside the states.
That's very interesting. That in fact is very inspiring, because what you're solving right now is such a current need of the hour. And I would like to, say thanks to you and to your team for really serving the society at this moment. And not only serving, but you are also, I'm sure, in this time you would be learning so many new things about how to manage pressure and how to manage such challenges in the business. I think I would like to now rope in Mr. Shalender Sharma. Shalender, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Rahul. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Shalender, you heard the great story of Rupa. Do you want to add something over there? What do you think?
Indeed. Actually, very inspiring, no doubt about it. And in fact, while learning from Rupa, I was also thinking and curious to share with our fellow colleagues and friends is that, there are a lot of businesses, and generally when we are sitting at home, working from home, we are thinking that all the businesses have actually stopped. Nothing is going on. In fact, even some people can do a lot of work from home, like we do a lot of work on laptops, and we keep working at home. But just think of a person who has been running a travel agency, and who had got a fleet of 10 cars, taxis flying between Guwahati and Shillong, right? Everything has stopped for the person who was running this travel agency. Can you think of anything happening to that person? I think no. Most of the taxi drivers are sitting idle at home, doing nothing, and they're just waiting for this lockdown to be open, and then they can start running their taxis again. But just for your information, I think if you just think aloud, there are a lot of requirements for taxis as well these days. You look at even hospitals and other allied services. They need taxis much more than they needed earlier, because now they're ferrying all their staff, because public transport is not available, nothing else is available. All their staff, they are picking from their home and dropping them back to their home.
Interesting.
Even police, other essential services, banking sector, private security, drug manufacturing unit, stock exchange services, petrol pumps, packaging units for essential services, postal services, water, electricity, sanitation, and the list goes on and on. All this is on. And all these are working on more than double the capacity they used to work. They are needing more cars, more vehicles. So even the travel agents who were smart enough, they got in touch with these people, offered them their services, and they are actually making more money than they used to do earlier before the COVID-19. So I think that's where we need to keep identifying the disruptive or disrupted supply chain and use it as an opportunity and become the supply chain for someone. So I think that is the kind of thing. Yeah, sorry.
No, I agree with you. This is so interesting. In fact, there's a business idea right here. What you said is just building up an app and connecting the people with the taxis and connecting them to the essential services. I mean, just an aggregator would do so much good over there right away.
Sure. So I think, in my view, even if you are an existing entrepreneur and if everything has come to a stop, we shouldn't stop thinking. We just think about how we can diversify from where you sell, where you operate in terms of region, market, customers. I mean, you start now supplying to different customers, sell to different customers, operate in different geographies, different regions, so that your risk is reduced and not concentrated at one place. And even I would say that some of the smart ideas also one should think about, which is listen to your potential customers. If you are thinking of a new business, this is the great time to do some kind of research by sitting at home, by talking to people over phone or something. If you have an idea in mind, if you have a business in mind, talk to your potential customers. You need to ask them as to what their needs, what they want, what are the challenges, what are their frustrations also with the existing suppliers they have, and with the industry they operate with, and what are their, most importantly, what are their likes and dislikes. These are important to map. And during this time itself, you can make your plan that this is how I'm going to support these people. And next time when the markets open, I'm going to run my business. And also what you can probably do is you can also look at your competitors while you're working from home or working out of your desk. So you can look at your competition, see what your competition are doing right now, and more importantly, what they are not doing, which you can do. You have to fill that critical space, and that's where you create that difference. So I think this is what most of the panelists have also spoken about, that keep creating new ideas and keep remain adaptable. I think I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's adaptable and realigning your whole business to this situation. Realigning from customer perspective to realigning from your services and realigning your finances, everything. So now I'm going to go to the interesting part, which I love in all the webinars, is the Q&A. I think we have shared a very interesting information. So Q&A opens up. Let's take questions, interestingly, and then I'm going to give these questions randomly distribute on the panel and, have the panelists answer them. So Zulfi, do you want to so we have already a list of few questions which had come actually.
Yes, and some are the questions, Rahul, they are coming on the chat sections. In the chat sections, there are a lot of buzzing going on. A lot of people, they are sharing their ideas, they are appreciating the webinar, and there's a lot of good remarks are there, Rahul, in the chat section.
So let me take, there are a few questions which I have with me on hand, which I have got, which says that, okay, what are the, there are a few questions which obviously talk about, which is interesting, which someone has said that in Meghalaya, raw material is difficult to find during lockdown, how we can solve this problem. So I would give this question to Rupa, who's really solving this problem, and would ask her, what does she think? So people have this question, Rupa, that, if they start a business and, okay, they need a raw material, be it anything, I mean, apart from a raw material like the products you're creating, anything which they need. And during lockdown, how they can really source that and start something and start providing to their customers. What do you think, Rupa?
Okay, I would suggest then that, okay, they have approached the vendor, simultaneously they got to approach the government to get the permission. And if the raw material comes under the essential commodities, then the permission, they would be receiving it easily.
Interesting. So one, the government is surely helping. I would right away say that you need to get in touch with the government authorities. You need to check whether your raw material is under the essentials, which is catering to the essential category. And if it is that, I think government is helping you to build the supply chain. Am I correct in Rupa? So government is also helping you if you have to source it outside the state, providing you e-pass and all that, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, super. So that's good. That's that answer there.
Rahul,
Yeah,
Zulfi
please.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, Zulfi, go ahead.
Can we open this for some of the participants that want to speak a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you can invite them, maybe one at a time, they can share.
So I can't see. So are there raised hands? So people can raise their hands.
So I can see Naresh. Naresh is there.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Naresh.
Hi.
Yeah. Speak up. Yeah, we are hearing.
Yeah. So see, one of the things I feel is like someone was sharing. This is definitely a great opportunity, even in a time of crisis. It's unique as well. And for a long time, I think it's not because of lack of talent that there aren't many private sectors here. There has been too much hope in government jobs, and I think that era has passed. And I think with COVID, I think it's just going to force us to think things differently. And what we don't have, see, there is no dearth of talent here in Meghalaya among the youth. But what is missing is some of the other parts. And I'm glad to, that you have organized this, because some of the other parts, first of all, is information and then support, which comes from other places. And that's why I was happy I noted down the MSOP. I've never heard of it before, honestly. And now I'm noting down the email and contacts and stuff like that, not just for myself, but to provide to other people. And I think what this crisis has shown is that no matter how individual we like to think of ourselves, we are all codependent and we are all very connected. And the best way to go forward is to help each other. And that's how, we are going to grow. So I'm glad. I really don't have much of a question, just excited about what you guys are doing and what you're offering. And thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, thanks, Naresh. Really encouraging words, and will keep us going. And please get in touch with the program. I think these guys are doing really good stuff on ground. Do we have any other questions?
Babito swear. I can see the raised hand. Babito swear. You there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like basically, I would like to say, like here in Shillong, for natural resources and all, we can't tap into that, because new businessmen can't tap into that, because they're all held up by these local businessmen, like all these big businessmen. So here we are trying, like me myself, are trying to do another sort of business. It does not involve natural resources or the government, but I just need some financial backing up. So would there be any advice based on that?
Sure. I think this is a very interesting question. Can I direct this question to Mr. Shalender Sharma? Shalender, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah,
very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. So I would like to mention here that there are always those big players available in the market, and you would have seen that startups have done so well that they have beaten them a long time now and taken a leap forward. So what we need to do is, as I earlier also briefly mentioned, that we have to identify the disruptive.
Zulfi, I think we lost Shalender. Are you guys hearing him? Or is it only me?
Yeah. We're hearing. Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Yes, please.
Okay. So we need to identify those disrupted supply chain in the existing businesses also, and then see where can we fit in. We can not start at a very large scale, but we can start with being part of that supply chain and add value to it, which becomes your value addition. And then as we become part of that supply chain, we start expanding. And when we start expanding, suppose in a particular business, if the supply chain requires 5 activities to happen, and you have started with only one of those activities, probably bringing in raw material or making the raw material a little bit usable. Some of this part, you are using only one bit of it. But later on, as you progress, then you become part of 2 supply chains, 3 supply chains, and ultimately you get the entire business chain and value chain yourself. I think that is the way to expand. I think to begin with a large business is not something we should look forward for, but become part of that important supply chain. That is the message from my side on that.
Nice. This is interesting, Shalender, what you shared. Yes, it's very important to be part of that, and then the teams can help. Is there any other raised hands? I can see
Steve Salchi Sangama. You there?
Hello.
Yeah, Steve Salchi Sangama, and then we'll go to Arkin. Yeah, Steve.
Hello,
Yeah,
I'm
please.
Russell. Am I audible?
Oh, yeah, Russell, please speak. Yeah.
Yes, I'm from Joy.
Hey,
am I audible?
Yes, you are, Russell. How are you?
Welcome, Russell.
Okay, I'm fine. We are in new journey. Here we have 3 of us from my team, Slat.com. I'm the co-founder. Here we have my friends Daniel and Badal also.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, Badal. How are you guys?
Actually, I am a co-founder of Slat.com, which is a news portal. And recently, with the crisis, since the breakout of COVID-19, we start an online store to help people in this crisis. So, as an entrepreneur, we have started this venture without charging anything from our customer. And we tie up also with the store, with some shops here, as we invite all the vendors also to come out in our platform. But the problem we face after the approval of our government, Meghalaya, for our online store, but we face difficulties in getting supply from the wholesaler, and we cannot meet the demand of the people to supply to give our service, or to give the delivery in the right time. So we have to face many problems in delivering. We start this venture as a gesture for joy, so that we can fight COVID. We don't take any commission. We don't take anything. Just after we got an approval from the government, we start this, and we see that it's working. And most of the citizens in Joy area, they are opting for online. But we face difficulties when the district administration allowed the community market to open, and we cannot go, or we cannot streamline our project like what it was advised by the health ministry, that we can stay at home to fight COVID, and this is not happening. We start this venture to fight COVID, but this is not happening, and we feel like what? When we lose hope, we see that people are not ready for online here in Joy, and moreover, we start this venture not only for our benefits. We don't start it as a businessman, or as a people who will earn profit. We started to help people, to help farmers. After, when farmers came to us, when the lockdown started, all their goods are perishable, and we found it in market. As a news reporter, as a founder of the news, we are planning what to do. How can we help this farmer, our local farmers? And I would like to appreciate one of the member of the 1917 directly called me. Can you help? Can you help our local farmer? Oh yes, why? I said directly to her, yes. Then she identified me, the farmers, and then with the help of the ARV, we go and collect our local products, vegetable fruits, even orange also we collect from our local farmers. But it all perishable goods. We don't have a warehouse. We don't have a store, a proper store to store the perishable goods. So we are facing lots of problems.
So I think
how can we run this business to add value addition when we don't have, as we are starting it from zero. It's not we start this business with by tying up or in collaborate with some of the departmental store and some other vendors. But the problem is we don't have a proper infrastructure here, and we give a proposal to government even to up our system also. But it seems that the district administration is not ready to fight. As you have said, that how can we fight COVID? I think the main issue is how can we add value addition, and how can we help people? Thank you.
Thanks, Russell. I mean, sad to hear that you guys started off and it's not going as a great journey. There are challenges, but I think at this junction, I think what you require is to be part of a incubation program or a mentoring program like MSOP, where you can, because I think there's a bit of structuring required, identifying and working with partners, where you will have some players like what IPE Global is doing with the Ministry of Meghalaya and trying to help startups. I think that would be the right place, because you have a lot of questions starting from the business model to the finance to the supply chain and everything. And I think that would need a more detailed discussion. Shalender, do you want to put in something here?
Well, thank you, Rahul. I think if you agree, I think Sheila would be more appropriate to respond to this, because this is regarding the local needs and that district level administration thing.
Sure.
So can we request Sheila to put some light on this?
Hi, hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. Okay. My just a small suggestion is that maybe there was a gap in the connectivity between the market, like the demand, and otherwise, like it would have been doing well. I would request Russell to if the online thing is not doing well, because I doubt like the online business at present is not so good in Meghalaya, like especially in Hawaii. So I think maybe a call or if, because we need to do a network out here. So maybe a networking to a word of mouth also would have helped, because if Russell does it in a for the very essential goods, no, like don't take so much stock, don't keep so much stock since you don't have a place to store also. So but start with the basic things, then it will I think it will push on slowly and gradually. But my suggestion is maybe it's just the initial stage, so we need to do a lot of structuring it, like you said, no, more structuring. But as of now, like with small things we can start, because we cannot just start in a big thing in the initial stage. Hello.
Yeah, Sheila,
Hello.
Sheila, I think Russell would have, Russell, did you, is there, Russell, do you want something to be asked more or does this satisfies your question?
Rahul, I'm just chipping it that
Yes.
the next webinar series is mostly will be going to be focused on packaging, maybe focusing on the warehousing and
Okay.
the procurement planning. Okay. So
Super.
Russell, you're most welcome to join into that. Maybe.
Yes.
Super.
Yeah, our platform is very ready, very much ready. We inviting all the vendors. This is not a new platform, actually. This is a very old platform. But in July, we can say that it is a new platform. Or we invite all the vendors. But in this venture to help farmers and to fight COVID, we start to help first the local farmers, local products. Now, if you can check our website also, you can store also, you will find our products.
Perfectly.
But when the
Yeah,
demand,
Russell, definitely. And our team will be going to in touch with you. Excellent. And
yes,
thank you very much for your remarks, Russell. We really appreciate that.
we start this venture with as a gesture for joy. We know what we will face problem. We know everything, but we have planned it in that way that all the vendors come together and fight for COVID.
Yes, Russell, we'll continue this discussion, and definitely our team will going to be assist. So now on, because we have to move on because of the time limit. But thank you very much for your excellent observation, and definitely we're going to pursue with it. Thank you very much, Russell. I really appreciate.
Zulfi, I think we have covered almost all the aspects, and I would now, hand it over to you, Zulfi, to kind of take us towards the end of the program. Tell us what next. What are the more about the series, and what are we going to do more about this?
Perfect. Rahul, thank you very much for conducting this. I really appreciate your time. Before I proceed for the vote of thanks, I just want to move again to our facilitators. Is Ayesha there? If you want to give a 1 minute concluding remark.
Sure. Thank you, Zulfi. I don't believe I greeted everybody who was here. So, Assalamu alaikum adab before it gets too late. I think as we go forward, and to, in a manner, summarize what everybody's been saying, it is not all doom and gloom. The world may seem as though it's stopped, but we're still open for business. Maybe very different kind of business, very different type of business, very different structures. It is very naive for us to say that we will return to something once COVID is over. I don't think we're going back to where we came from. We're going to move towards a new normalcy for sure. And as we progress towards that, we need to be aware of what kind of resources are at our disposal, how we can probably structure our own business where we are able to support fellow founders. More importantly, remembering that we are still a business. So yes, we will be charging for our products or services or offerings. If there is a way for us to contribute something which will help, or most importantly, just allow people to weather through the storm and then carry forward. So as we are designing our business, let's see how we can, as we've considered in the context of Meghalaya especially, think locally. Do not let that stop you from looking for collaborations which may exist across the world. I'd be very happy to project about social entrepreneurs and social enterprises through Social Enterprise Saturday, because the way we look at it, we feel as though the problem exists only within our community. The reality is there are similar problems that exist around the world. So if there is a solution which has worked in one specific community, let's get the word out and allow others to benefit from what we have learned, and then accelerate our journey together with them. So thank you to everybody who has been involved in getting this project on board, and especially to Mr. Tejwani, who's been the moderator, and he's really kept the passion going throughout the conversation. It has been an amazing experience, and I look forward to participating in the future, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Ayesha. Thank you very much for your time. Now I quickly go to the Sila. Sila, I have 1 minute concluding remark. Sila there?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, 1 minute concluding remark.
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone. It is the first experience for me also to participate in this webinar. I would look forward. I would always help in any way,
Yes,
because
yes.
like we also it is a fresh learning for us also every day. So to guide the youths, especially in terms of entrepreneurship. And I just wanted to say one thing also is that like now the business area now will be like the business focus. Now we need to we need to motivate the youths is also to look towards rural as well, like because we now seeing the situation now, I think like even the rural population has got a lot to offer. So maybe next we can look more. So with these words, I thank all.
Perfect. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you very much. Kinjai, are you there? If you're there, a 1 minute concluding
Yes.
remark from your side.
Yes, sir. Like I would suggest all the entrepreneurs to take a very calculative risk, be a little practical, and be positive. Like we all will overcome COVID-19, so stay positive. That's it from my side, sir.
Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. We have seen that around 90 people participated throughout the world. Majority of them from the Meghalaya, but we had a participation from Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Ahmedabad. We had some participation from the USA, from UK, from UAE. So it has been a wonderful global event. So I first of all would like to thank our principal secretary, who has been very kind enough, who inaugurated and provided us very encouraging words. He is very right when he says that coming in near future, we are going to come up with ideas, need-based analysis ideas, and this is not the end, but this is a beginning. This web series is a beginning, and we will come up with a new themes every week. Second, I would like to thank to our MD, Mr. Ashwajit Singh, for providing us direction, inspiration, and giving us a broad overview of how the world is changing and what we need to do in this changing world. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to our director, Mr. Shalender Sharma, who has been an inspiration for us, not only for this webinar, but for this whole MSOP project. He kept us running, he kept us motivating, and if we are seeing this webinar because of his tireless work and because of his inspiration, he is the person who loves innovation, who loves rejuvenation. We love to thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this. And I would like to thank my friend, Mr. Rahul Tejwani, for moderating this seminar, this webinar. And he was really, as Ayesha said, very rightly, he is very passionately maintained it. Rahul, definitely we're going to work with you in future. Thank you, my friend. And would like to express my thank to Ayesha Naseem. Thank you, Ayesha, for giving us an overview that how is skilling and what are the priority and how we can structure, especially when you said structure your madness, sort your priority. These are the lessons that we are going to take away. Thank you, Ayesha. Sheila, thank you very much for telling us that what is the scenario of Meghalaya, how this youth of Meghalaya, what kind of support they require. That was the lesson for us. We need to work on proposal writing. We need to work on financial planning. We need to help them for the financial linkages. Thank you, Sheila, for providing this direction. Thembelihle, it was wonderful to have you. When you said especially about this changing priority in the changing world, what exactly you need. You said a wonderful thing, find the gap and fill it. That's perfectly we need to do as an entrepreneur. Find the gap and fill it. Thank you, Thamba. And Kinjai, your story is an amazing inspiration. You are the person who is running from the front line and who is facing these difficulties. We are so proud of you that you are associated with us, and we are looking forward to work with you. When you said that don't give up and work for you tirelessly for your destiny, for your goal, that is the lesson that we are going to take away. Last but not least, all the participants who has participated, I can see so many names, I can see so many diversity in our workshop. Thank you, all of you. Please write us, please give us your feedback on our group chat. We're going to open for 10 more minutes. And we will also send you the online feedback, and we will also send you the digital certificate of participation through the email. So thank you everyone for participating, and we will keep you updated about our next events. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
Zulfi, I got to stay here. I got to thank, to everyone, I would like to, on everyone's behalf, I would like to thank Zulfi for putting all this together and getting every one of us from different parts of the world, from different time zones, to come together and discuss this. So Zulfi, keep the energy up and all the best to everyone. See you soon on the other side and hope the sun would rise again. Thank you, everyone.
Inshallah.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We Khoblai Sibun. Everyone, Khoblai Sibun.
Thank you, everyone.
The meeting.